Panicked, John accelerated, the car speeding away from the eerie scene. The droning hum faded, replaced by the sound of their heavy breathing, and the car's engine straining against the rough road. They didn't stop until they reached the safety of Warminster.
The figures, they're rather round-headed, very tall, between 7 and 8 feet tall. They appear to have no neck, as the joints straight down onto the shoulders. Long, gangling limbs, and you don't see any features, but you see the solid outline of the figure, the entity, if you like, and the rest, the interior part, is transparent. You're suddenly aware that they're there, and sometimes, as though they've been riveted there, but in an invisible form. Crazy. Sounds crazy. Of course it sounds crazy. But they suddenly appear, and if you shine a torch on them, you know, you're rather agitated by the sheer height of these figures. Quite terrifying, really. You shine a torch on them, and they disappear, absolutely dematerialize, and then they come up closer to you, which is, again, frightening.
If you were to research this topic yourself, you would sooner or later come up against the name Arthur Shuttlewood. He was born in Chelmsford, Essex in 1920, and he died in Warminster in 1996. He moved to Warminster in 1940 and worked as a reporter for the Wiltshire Times and then the Warminster Journal from the early 1950s. By the time The Thing began appearing in Warminster, Shuttlewood was 44 and well established at the Journal. Before journalism, Shuttlewood served in the Grenadier Guards, the Air Ministry Constabulary, and was a councillor on the Warminster Urban District Council. He proclaimed his integrity, stating that he built his reputation on not being easily fooled. His journalistic access made him a primary source of UFO information in Warminster, influencing its place in ufological history. When UFO investigators visited Warminster, they were often directed to Shuttlewood, whose charm and sincerity won over many, including skeptics. Despite being remembered with respect, some colleagues noted his tendency to embellish reports for dramatic effect. Shuttlewood did exaggerate his stories, as seen in The Warminster Mystery, where events were more dramatic than in his journal reports. This trend continued, with his uncritical approach extending to later works. For example, in 1982 he described flawed UFO photographs as genuine without actually seeing them first. But despite this, Shuttlewood became a ufological guru in Warminster.